We're not going to be paying for your security.
Is it the only thing that I've been asking for throughout this whole process? It's safety.
No longer a working royal, so you're not going to get police force around you when you pay visits here.
Prince Harry has lost a Court of Appeal case over security arrangements in the United Kingdom.
Wait, what security? You have security, bozo! And you have a lot of money, you can afford security. So get better security.
You know, Trump says he hates the way that Harry dealt with the late Queen, and judging by his friendliness towards King Charles, he won't appreciate the way Harry continues to run his mouth against the monarchy today.
Harry is clearly not okay, and I agree. Harry probably needs to seek some sort of therapist to help him with whatever issues he's going through, because I don't think Meghan's going to help him. She's in her complete own world.
He's a duplicitous, self-centered, vile, disloyal hypocrite.
Harry comes out and gives this interview in which he not only says he doesn't know how long the king has left to live.
I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff.
You're in America now, and we don't give a shit about you. You're not our fucking prince.
Which the royal family was like, hey, let's not talk about the king's mortality because you don't know, specifically because the king has refused to speak to you since February 2024. Now that is over a year ago.
You'll never be king. We hate your wife. Stay at home in your $29 million mansion, all right?
The hypocrisy is beyond anything I've ever seen.
Okay, hold on to your royalty because Prince Harry's past just came roaring back in the most unexpected way, and it's shaking the entire palace to its core. Prince Harry's love life? Oh, honey, it's always been a fortress, carefully guarded, sealed tighter than a royal vault, and spoken about only in hushed whispers behind palace walls. His romances before Meghan Markle? Practically forbidden topics, either hushed by royal protocol or buried under a mountain of discreet silence, but not anymore. Because now, out of nowhere, one of Harry's ex-girlfriends just broke her silence, and the way she did it? Not what anyone saw coming. No mess, no public tantrums, no jabs or jealousy. Nope. She came out calm, composed, and dangerously precise. And that's exactly why it sent the internet into a full-on meltdown. Her words were quiet, but the impact? Boom. A sonic boom. This wasn't some bitter ex airing dirty laundry. It was a surgical strike, a carefully aimed message that left viewers blinking in disbelief.
You don't get it, Harry. You're not a victim. You're a rich man who can pay for his own security.
If you are really concerned about security, to your point, why are you going to Colombia? Why are you going to Nigeria?
Everyone expected fire, bitterness, maybe some regrets, or a bit of emotional chaos. But instead, what we got was stillness. Measured, strategic silence wrapped in a perfectly balanced statement that had layers and layers. And let's be real, she didn't drop names, she didn't throw daggers, but every single word, oh, it was loaded. Analysts, fans, even the press are obsessively dissecting her every sentence. Because, darling, this didn't feel like an accident. This felt planned, choreographed, like a quiet warning shot in a war that hasn't fully begun. She didn't drag Harry. She didn't shame him, but she did question the man he's become. And that has everyone, from Buckingham Palace to Hollywood boardrooms, buzzing with questions. Because for years, Harry has owned the narrative. The orphaned son, the royal rebel, the husband who chose love over legacy. But now, someone who knew the real Harry, the pre-Megxit, pre-Netflix, pre-Spare Harry, is telling her truth. And maybe, just maybe, everything we've been fed about his journey isn't the full picture.
Americans feel like Prince Harry is an emotional con artist who fabricates and exaggerates hardships to exploit compassion.
But wait, it gets wilder. This isn't just fans reacting. Oh no. The timing of this, absolute dynamite. Because while she's calmly stirring up emotional chaos, the UK is in the middle of a royal political earthquake. Parliament is literally debating whether to strip Harry of his royal titles, and suddenly, boom, here comes this composed little bombshell from the past. She's not just a ghost of Harry's love life anymore. She might be the first domino in a full-blown royal unraveling. Now everyone's asking the same question, why now? Because her tone wasn't angry, it wasn't desperate. It was too perfect, too rehearsed. That kind of calm, it's usually a signal that she knows way more than she's letting on. She praised Harry's charm, yes, but she hinted he might still be trapped in the royal machinery. She empathized with his past, but warned that maybe, just maybe, he's been running from it, not healing it. And Meghan, oh sweetie, she wasn't mentioned once. And that is the loudest silence of all. Because when you leave out a name that big, you're not avoiding drama. You're making a statement, a veiled critique. And whether you see it as a classy defense or a quiet takedown, it was a move, a big one. And the timing, impeccable.
King Charles, if Prince William, Kate, anyone talks to him, it's just more content for the next book or Netflix series.
Let's be real. This interview didn't land in the middle of a Vanity Fair puff piece. It dropped right when British lawmakers are openly questioning if Harry even deserves his HRH or Duke of Sussex status. Coincidence? Please. No one's buying that. The whispers are growing louder that this ex's reveal is part of a much bigger picture. A movement, a reckoning, a moment where those who once knew Harry are stepping into the light and saying, that's not the Harry we remember. Maybe it's revenge, maybe it's redemption, or maybe it's about snatching the narrative back from the Hollywood-glossed chaos that followed Spare. And let's talk impact, because even though her words were delivered with a soft touch, they hit like a wrecking ball. It's the first time anyone outside the royal bubble has gone public with this kind of personal insight. And people are not brushing it off, because Meghan Markle's name might not have been said, but her shadow was everywhere. Every syllable, every pause, every glance, it felt like a needle pointed straight at her. Harry's ex talked about love that morphs into sacrifice, about losing yourself in the glare of someone else's spotlight, and that line, that when someone trades identity for rebellion, they rarely understand the true cost until it's too late. That wasn't shade, that was a thunderstorm.
Harry has been desperately trying to connect with his father and brother through old friends and retired courtiers. Neither have taken the bait.
You don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to read between those lines. This wasn't a message for Harry, it was a warning about Meghan. Not villainizing her, but painting her as the turning point, the force that maybe dragged Harry into a world he wasn't ready to survive in. And if you think that's the end of it, think again, because online, oh baby, it's chaos. TikToks, reaction videos, Instagram essays, everyone's breaking it down like it's a royal version of Inception. Some say she's just bitter, others swear she's trying to protect Harry without dragging him, but the loudest theory? This was a chess move. A calculated, preemptive strike from a woman who's watched long enough and is finally stepping into the arena. And Meghan? Dead silent. Not a tweet, not a post, not even a spokesperson quote. For someone who's built a career reclaiming her voice, that silence is deafening and strategic, like she's watching, waiting, calculating. Because Meghan has to know this wasn't just some casual gossip. This was a signal. Because if an ex is speaking out now as Parliament tightens its grip, that's not just personal, that's political. And Meghan, she's suddenly realizing the safety net she thought she had, it might be snapping. This ex didn't scream, she didn't throw punches, but she whispered something that shook the foundation, and the fallout, oh honey, we're only getting started.
I've been treated very, very, very differently to everybody else that exists. All examples that exist, I have been singled out. My status hasn't changed. It can't change. I am who I am. I am part of what I'm part of, and I can never escape that.
What started as a harmless online petition, yeah, it just became a political sledgehammer. British lawmakers, yes, actual parliament members are now talking about pulling the plug on Harry's royal identity. How? By invoking the Titles Deprivation Act of 1917. That's right. A law used to punish traitors in World War I is now being aimed at the Duke of Sussex. Let that sink in. They're lumping Harry in with traitors. And the timing, beyond symbolic. This ex drops her poised little truth grenade, and suddenly Parliament is voting on whether Harry even deserves to be called a prince. This isn't about a family feud anymore. This is about legitimacy, laws, reputation, everything. And you know what's even juicier? This ain't coming from Buckingham Palace. Not officially, anyway. King Charles, mum. William, dead silent. But behind the scenes, insiders say it's not just approval, it's permission. They're letting Parliament be the bad guy, so the royals can sit back, clean hands, and say, we didn't strip him. He hasn't said a word.
I don't know how much longer my father has. He won't speak to me because of this security stuff.
Father, he tells the world now isn't talking to him and disingenuously claims it's only because of this security issue when, of course, it isn't.
Behind palace walls, it's chaos cloaked in silence. Harry's inner circle, absolutely fuming. Word is, he's seething, convinced this is a targeted attack to strip away the last thread connecting him to royalty. And honestly, he might be right. Because if his ex's whisper cracked the glass, Parliament is swinging a hammer. Why? It's not just about Oprah or Spare or the Netflix circus. William reportedly sees this whole Meghan-Harry brand as the ultimate hypocrisy. They ditched duty, dragged the crown through the mud, and then sold it back to Hollywood with a glossy filter. One palace insider didn't mince words. They called it brand betrayal. Another said William believes Harry and Meghan are actively trying to dismantle the monarchy from the outside while cashing in. And guess what? William's not playing defense anymore. He's watching the empire burn and refusing to toss a single bucket of water.
Oh my God, that hat. Oh God, he's so hot. Look at him. Isn't Prince Harry? She bagged a fox. Oh, but look how nice is she. Pulling away from her lovely prince. It's so good. Who's filming this?
And here's the kicker. This isn't just personal, it's tactical. Because William isn't crying over broken bonds, he's protecting the future of the monarchy. The Fab Four? A distant memory. William's not chasing that image anymore. He's focused on one thing, the crown. And who does he blame for the royal collapse? Not just Meghan, no, Harry. From bombshell interviews to multi-million-dollar memoirs, it's always been Harry lighting the match. William sees him as the architect of chaos, the one who knew exactly what he was doing and did it anyway. And William, he learned early how to survive the royal game in silence. So now, as Parliament prepares to legally erase Harry's royal identity, William's not lifting a finger. Because in his mind, you break the rules, you pay the price. And let's talk about the moment that pushed it all over the edge. A podcast gift basket. Yes, a seemingly innocent package from Meghan Markle, complete with handwritten note and snacks. But one detail lit a match under the monarchy. The card. It read, "With the compliments of Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex." Yep, she used HRH. Let's rewind. When Megxit happened, Queen Elizabeth explicitly stated they were not to use their HRH titles in any formal way. It was the one red line, the one sacred condition. And Meghan just blew past it like it was a minor inconvenience. Critics were stunned, not just by the use of HRH, but by how casually it was slipped in. No fanfare, just a quiet power move like she assumed no one would notice. But oh, people noticed. And they were furious. Inside the palace, it was like spitting on the Queen's memory. Across Parliament, it was the final straw. And among regular Brits, it reignited a firestorm. Because if she's still calling herself Her Royal Highness after agreeing not to, what else are they refusing to let go of? What else are they milking behind the scenes?
Zoom in here and it says, "With the compliments of Her Royal Highness."
This wasn't just about titles anymore. It was about honor, about boundaries, about whether Harry and Meghan are genuinely out or still halfway in when it suits them. And suddenly, the whispers turned into a war cry. This isn't about punishment anymore. It's about boundaries, and if you think this is just royal theatrics, think again. The consequences are tangible.
Reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
No! No! I refuse! I'm sick of it!
Because if the titles go, the entire Sussex brand unravels. Let's be brutally honest. Without Duke of Sussex and Her Royal Highness, what are Meghan and Harry really selling? You feel the plug on that? And what you're left with, just two ex-royals trying to sell a dream the monarchy just pulled the rug out from.
With the compliments of HRH, which is Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex.
You made homemade strawberry jam. It's kind of like a doctor when you keep referring to them as doctor, like, call me Susan. You know, like, I would never refer to myself as Her Royal Highness.
And here's where King Charles plays his own game of royal chess. He's not yelling. He's not making speeches. He's not publicly condemning his son. But make no mistake, he's furious. Insiders say behind palace doors, Charles is seething quietly, strategically. Because while the public and Parliament wage war, Charles gets to sit back and look neutral. Above it all, stoic, heartbroken maybe, but never vindictive. Strip the titles and what's left? A couple caught in the spotlight with no crown to hide behind. Just two people who walked away from duty and thought they could keep the perks. And this is Parliament and the monarchy calling their bluff. Because this isn't Harry giving up his titles. That would be noble. This is the crown ripping them away. This is the people of Britain, through law and process, saying, you don't get to torch the house and still claim it as your mailing address. And the symbolism cuts deeper than any spare excerpt or Oprah confession ever could. It says, you betrayed the legacy, you profited from the pain, and now you face the consequence. Let's talk about the real fallout. Once that title's gone, every podcast, every Netflix pitch, every book deal loses its sparkle. Because let's be honest, no one paid to hear stories from Harry Windsor. They wanted a prince. They wanted inside access. They wanted the drama behind the crown. And if the crown's gone, so is the intrigue. Suddenly, Harry becomes just another celebrity who aired dirty laundry, just another former royal talking about past trauma. And that mystique, that elusive, priceless royal allure, it evaporates. And Meghan, she goes from modern duchess to what? A podcaster? An influencer? Another Hollywood figure trying to stay relevant? Because here's the truth. The HRH, the Duchess title, that's what set her apart. That's what opened doors. That's what made companies listen. And without it, she's just another famous face with a controversial past. No crown, no court, no castle. Let's go deeper. Netflix? They didn't pay $100 million 0 cents for 2 ex-actors. They paid for a glimpse into Buckingham Palace. Spotify? They signed on for royal perspective. Penguin Random House? They marketed Spare as a rare royal tell-all. No titles means no throne. No throne means no value add. And Hollywood? Oh, honey, Hollywood moves on fast. Already, whispers are circling. Studio execs are rethinking deals. Sponsors are stalling. Publicists are stalling. Because if that royal sheen disappears, so does the brand. And what's left is messy, complicated, unmarketable. It's not just the monarchy that's done with Harry and Meghan. It's the entire system that helped them launch Sussex too. And perhaps the most poetic part of all this, it all started with a whisper. A calm, quiet voice from the past, a woman who once knew Harry. Not the prince, not the brand, but the man. And with one strategic interview, she kicked off a chain reaction that may bring down the entire illusion. She didn't shout. She didn't insult, she didn't even name names, but her silence, her tone, the restraint, it said everything. Because in royal circles, what you don't say speaks louder than any tell-all. Her carefully measured words weren't about the past. They were a mirror held up to the present, a quiet truth. This isn't the Harry we remember. And suddenly, millions agree. So now the question echoes not just across Britain, but across the world. When you walk away from the institution, expose it, attack it, and cash in on it, do you still deserve to wear its crown? The answer? It's landing hard, and it's landing now. Parliament is moving. The titles are hanging by a thread. The palace is silent but watching. Meghan is quiet but calculating. And Harry? He might just be moments away from becoming the prince who lost everything. Not to scandal, not to shame, but to the very system he tried to escape, fighting back. And this time, not even a royal name can save him. So now it's your turn. Should Harry be stripped of his titles? Was this ex trying to help him or hurt him? And what does it mean for Meghan if the Duchess part of her brand vanishes forever? Hit like, smash subscribe, and keep your eyes glued because the next video, oh, honey, you're not ready. It's coming. And it's even juicier.